Hello students, welcome in 12th standard. Today we will start with the syllabus and paper pattern of electronics. Okay, as we know, the electronics is the subject of 200 marks. Okay, so total marks are 200. They are distributed in two parts, paper 1 and paper 2. We can call it as section 1 and section 2. Okay, paper 1 for 100 marks, paper 2 for 100 marks. It is divided into two parts. 100 marks, they are distributed in two parts. Theory means written paper, that is for 50 marks. Here also theory or written paper for 50 marks, and remaining 50 marks, they are for practicals. Okay, so practicals for 50 marks. Here also practicals for 50 marks. Now, how these 50 marks are distributed? The 50 marks are distributed in various parts. Okay, so 25 marks for practical exam. Actual practical exam, it is having 5 questions of 5 marks each, or depend. Okay, so 25 marks for practicals, 5 marks for oral or viva, 30. Now remaining 20 marks, they are distributed in two parts. 10 marks for journal, or we call it as practical book, and remaining 10 marks for project. Here also same pattern is applicable. 25 marks practical exam, 5 marks oral or viva, 10 marks journal or practical book, that you have to write by yourself, and remaining 10 marks for project. There is only one project, don't take tension of project. Okay, we have to make any one project from either paper 1 or paper 2. Only the condition is that it should be made up of electronic components and it should be working project. Okay, so this is actual paper pattern or distribution of 200 marks. Now we will see the syllabus. See, the paper 1 or section 1 is applied electronics. In this part we will see the applications. Applications means what? In 11th standard you have seen or studied the types of components. Okay, in 12th standard we will see how those components they are used in different applications. Okay, so let's see chapters. First chapter is instruments. In this chapter we will see 3 types of instruments. First is CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope, then digital multimeter. Okay, CRO, that is very important. Cathode ray oscilloscope, you might have seen in hospitals the heart pulse like this. Okay, so the instrument which display such heart rate, that is known as CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope. Next one is digital multimeter. Digital multimeter also you have seen in our laboratory, that is used to observe voltage, current and resistance. And the third instrument is function generator. See, CRO is used to display any form of waveform, means waveform of voltage, current, okay, or any frequency. So if we want to observe any frequency on CRO, then we have to apply that frequency to CRO. So such frequency is generated by using function generator. We will see DMM and function generator. We will see only block diagram of these two instruments. Okay. We will see block diagram of DMM and function generator, but we will see CRO in very details because CRO is very important instrument. Okay. Next chapter is power supply. Okay, I have shown here the percentage of weightage for paper. Instrument is having 15% weightage in exam. Now power supply. Half of this chapter that you have seen in 11th standard. What is that? It is having block diagram of power supply. Then which are the blocks of power supply? First block is transformer, next is rectifier. So here we will see block diagram of as well as types of rectifiers also. Okay, up to types of rectifiers you have seen in 11th standard. That also we will see in this year's syllabus also. Next we will see types of filters. Then types of regulators. This is additional part in 12th standard. It is having 20% weightage. Next part is next chapter is transducer. Transducer is a device which converts one form of energy into another form. This chapter is also very important. It is used everywhere. Okay. Next is operational amplifier. Operational amplifier, it is made up of differential amplifier. You have seen in last year's syllabus differential amplifier. How it looks? I will show the rough idea of differential amplifier, rough diagram of differential amplifier. Okay. Have you seen such type of diagram? Okay, this is nothing but differential amplifier. So operational amplifier is made up of different types of differential amplifiers. As the name is operational amplifier, it performs various operations like addition, subtraction, differentiation, integration. So that's why such amplifier is known as operational amplifier. It is having 25% weightage. This chapter is very much important. If you will see, op amp is having 25% weightage, power supply is having 20% weightage. So these two chapters they are having 45% weightage. So if you will open the board exam paper of paper 1, then you will see half of the paper having questions on only these two chapters, op amp and power supply. So these two chapters, they are very important. Okay. Now the next chapter is modern electronic communication. This chapter, the length of this chapter is actually very big. It is very big chapter. So, but the weightage is having 20%. In this chapter, we will see different types of communication systems, like we will see radar, we will see cell phone, then we will see satellite communication, then network topology, then types of network like LAN, MAN, WAN. Okay, we will see most of the methods of communication. In addition to that, Here we will see fiber optic cable. Okay, so many points will be covered in this chapter. Next is study of IC. Study of IC, in this chapter we will study three types of IC: 741, 317 and IC 555. See, 741 IC is nothing but op-amp IC. So we will cover this IC in this chapter only. Next is 317 IC. 317 IC is regulator IC. So we will cover this IC in power supply itself. Now remaining IC 555. IC 555 is timer IC. It is used to generate precise time delay. Okay, so we will see the types of types of multivibrators. Multivibrator means they are the modes how we can use this IC in different modes. Okay, they are monostable, then astable multivibrator. So we will see in this chapter study of IC, and numericals are also there. So this is all about applied electronics. Paper 2 or section 2 is digital electronics. See, this part is very important. Digital electronics is used everywhere nowadays. Okay, digital signal is very important. Why digital signals they are important? How digital signals are there? They are having only two states, 0 and 1. Okay, logic 0, logic 1. Only two types of signals are there in digital electronics. Digital signals, they are very important because they require very low signals. Means low signals means they are operated on just 5-volt supply. Most of the digital circuits, they are operated with 5-volt supply. So it requires less supply. That's why less power consumption. Okay, less power is consumed. In addition to that, when digital signal is transferred from one place to another place, okay, when signal is transmitted from here to here, then there is a chance of addition of noise. Noise is what? Any unwanted signal. So what are types of noise? Types of noise are, they are actually voice signals or signals due to cars, or we can say automobiles. So such type of signals, they are analog in nature. Okay, analog signal means what? Such type of signal, that is analog signal. So such signals, they are analog in nature, and human voice is also analog in nature. So when signal is transmitted, let's take example of mobile signal or cell phone signal. So one user is talking from this place to this place. So when signal is transferred from this place to this place, the signal is voice signal. So if the signal is transmitted in the form of analog, then there is a chance of addition of such noise signals, that is signal due to ignition of automobiles or any man-made signal. So such signal get added in addition to the original signal, and the disturbance is created at the second terminal. So to avoid this, if we use the digital signal, instead of using the voice signal in analog form, if it is converted in digital form and then transmitted from this terminal to this terminal, then such noise is not added in the digital signals. That's why nowadays digital signals is used everywhere. Okay, so this is advantage of using digitization. So here we will see which chapters are included in digital electronics. First chapter is types of number system. Number system means the actual coded language which are used. So there are 4 types of coded language. First is binary, octal, decimal and hexadecimal. Binary, that includes only 2 types of signals, 0 1, that is used in digital electronics. Second one is octal. In octal 8 symbols are used. In decimal 9 symbols are used, 0 to 9, which we use in our day to day life. That is the decimal number system. And the fourth one is hexadecimal number system, that is used for memory mapping, and it is having total 16 signals or symbols. Okay, we will see binary, decimal and hexadecimal, 3 types of number systems in very short. We will not see the octal number system because that is not included in our syllabus. So we will see the 3 types of number systems in first chapter, that is number system, and how any number is converted from one number system to another number system. Second type is logic gates. Logic gates, in this chapter we will see different types of logic gates. Now I want to show you something. See, we know we use memory. Where we use memory? We use memory everywhere. Okay, in all digital circuits we use memory, like cell phone, computer, laptop, everywhere we need memory. Now how this memory, semiconductor memory, is constructed, that actually I want to give you the idea about the memory. Okay, see, last year you have seen types of semiconductors, that is p type and n type semiconductor. If they are joined together, combined together, then the structure is formed which is known as diode. Now we use 2 same type of semiconductor and 1 different type of semiconductor, that is PNP or NPN. If we form such type of structure, then we call it as transistor. Do you remember PNP and NPN type of transistors? Okay, the transistors are very much important to form the digital circuits. Now the symbol of NPN transistor is like this. This is base, emitter, this one is collector. Now if we combine such type of transistors, then gate is formed, that we will see in logic gates. Okay, see, transistor itself is a NOT gate. NOT gate means what? Here at base we apply input, at collector we will observe output. So here if we apply high voltage, then at collector we will see low voltage, and if at base we apply low voltage, at collector we will see high voltage. So here we get reverse output, means high voltage is applied, at output we get low voltage. If low voltage is applied, we get high voltage. So transistor itself is a NOT gate. We call it as NOT gate. So gates are the structures which are formed by using different types of transistor and to get desired output. So if we want addition, if we want to perform addition, for addition XOR gate is designed. For multiplication, AND gate is designed. So to perform various operations, different types of gates are designed by using diode and transistors. So see, by using semiconductor we have formed diodes and transistors, and by using diodes and transistor we can form different types of gates. The symbols for gates are like NOT gate is like this, AND gate is like this, one more gate is there, OR gate is like this. As I told you, for addition XOR gate is used, XOR gate is like this. So we will see these types of gates in second chapter, which is nothing but logic gates. The total digital electronics part is very easy to understand. We have to just apply our logic, and by applying logic we can remember all digital electronics part. Okay, so this section 2 is very easy to understand. Third is logic families. In this chapter we will study different types of digital ICs. Now next is mux and demux. Mux and demux, they are very much important. This chapter is also very much important and very easy. It is having 20% weightage. Mux demux means what? Demux is nothing but decoder. One more part is there, encoder. See, I will tell you one example of encoder and decoder. We use calculator. Okay, in calculator, you suppose we want to perform 9 plus 5. So user enters 9, just press the key of 9, and when we press the key of 9, inside the calculator there is a digital circuit. So there is a encoder circuit which converts this 9 into binary form, means in 0 and 1 form. Like the number 9 will be converted into 0001. So inside digital circuit will understand the number 9 is pressed. Then plus, when user press the key 5, inside there is encoder circuit which converts this 5 into 0101. Now adder circuit is there. Adder circuit performs addition of these two numbers and the result will be 1110. But on the display, if we will see the number 1110, we cannot understand what is this number. We just want the addition of 9 plus 5, that is 14. But if we see such type of number, user cannot understand. So there is a circuit which convert this number again into original form, that is 14. So this is performed by using the circuit decoder. So these four types of circuits: demux, demux, encoder, decoder. Decoder is nothing but demux. So this we will study in this chapter number 4. This is also very important and very easy chapter, and it is having 20% weightage. Next is flip-flop, counters and register. Now we will continue here how flip-flops are formed. See, in addition to this circuit, one more gates are there. This is NAND and this is NOR. So by using these gates we can form flip-flops. See, this is nothing but latch. See, if we cross couple these two NAND gates, then we can have one flip-flop. What is use of flip-flop? Flip-flop is nothing but 1-bit memory. See, I told you the concept of memory. The memory is used to store the data. Okay, so such one flip-flop is used to store 1-bit data. So if we say 8-bit memory is there, then such 8 flip-flops, they are connected in series. If 16-bit memory is there, then 16 flip-flops are connected to each other. 32-bit memory is there, 32 flip-flops, they are connected. 64-bit memory is there, 64 flip-flops are connected. Okay, now do you know how flip-flops are formed? Next is register and counter. See, one flip flop, the same flip flop that is denoted by such block only. Okay, so this is flip flop number 1. Now registers. How registers are formed? Registers are also formed by using such flip flops. Register is used to store temporary data inside the processor. In processor, suppose if we want to perform the addition, so to perform addition, first same example, 9 plus 5. When 9 is entered, that is stored somewhere inside the processor. When 5 is entered, it is also stored somewhere in the processor. Then their addition is performed. Then where this 9 is stored, where this 5 is stored, that is stored inside the processor, the circuit that is known as register. Register is used to store the temporary data. Okay, so the register is also formed by using such flip-flops. If flip-flops they are connected each other, then register is formed. Then counters. Counter is also formed by using number of register. The counter is used to count the digital data or to increment the counter. 0, then 1, 2, 3. So counter increments the count or it can decrement the count. So for such use, counters are used. They are also having 20% weightage. Next is analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter. These converters are also very much useful. Why these are useful? As I told you, everywhere digitization is there, but human voice, that is analog in nature. Okay, human voice is analog in nature. This is human voice. Now, as I told you, the significance of digital data, we have to convert this analog data into digital data. So that's why we use analog to digital converter. Okay, this is terminal 1, this is terminal 2. We are sending data from terminal 1 to terminal 2. So before sending the data, analog data is converted into digital by using ADC. Now at receiving end, the data received is in digital form. So it is necessary to convert it back into analog form. So that is done by using digital to analog circuits. So these converters are very much important in day-to-day life. Okay, and the last chapter is computer fundamentals. In this chapter we will see block diagram of computer, then we will see types of memory, then we will see IO devices. IO devices means different types of input and output devices, and we will see the types of secondary memories. Secondary memories. Which are secondary memories? Floppy disk is there, hard disk is there, magnetic tape is there. So these are types of secondary memories. So we will see the types of secondary memories. So this is all about the syllabus of 12th electronics. See, if we see the question paper of electronics, actually the theory paper is having 50 marks. Okay, 50 marks for paper 2, 50 marks for paper 1 and 50 marks for paper 2. But you will, if you will see the actual paper, it is having 100 marks with options. Okay, with options, the paper actually it is of 100 marks, and out of 100 you have to attempt 50 marks paper. So lots of options are there, and there are such questions that you will easily know. Out of 2 you will get, definitely you will get 1 question. Out of 3 you will definitely get 1 question. So such questions are there that you can easily understand, they are very very important. And also I will tell you when I will conduct the lectures on that particular topic. Okay, now I will show you the books that you should refer. One book that you will know, that is Supekar book. See, there are two books. First book is Application of Electronics from R.D. Supekar, but this book is having lots of mistakes, so I will not suggest you to refer this book. And this is 100% electronics in short time. This book you will not get anywhere, because this book is from Alibag, and now this book is not available. So you can take this book from your seniors. Also I will provide you the soft copies of notes, but I will suggest take this book from your senior or take Xerox. Okay, so this book is very much important. It is actually paper solution, and you will get the all notes in the form of question answer form, so you will easily understand how to attempt the question, how to write the answer, as well as this is having lots of numericals which are solved, unsolved. Okay, so I will suggest you take this book only, or take notes from your seniors, or get this book if possible. Now one more thing I would like to tell you. You guys prepare for PCM group, physics, chemistry and maths, but most of the students, they don't score in the subject of chemistry. I don't know the reason why the score of chemistry is always low, but if you will get less marks in chemistry, then don't bother about that. So you can if you will score in electronics, then instead of chemistry, the marks of electronics, they are considered. So if you score, if your score in electronics is suppose 190, and the average of electronics will become 95, so 190 upon 2 out of 100, that will be 95. So instead of chemistry, here the 95 marks of electronics will be considered. So this is actually good news for you people, and you can easily score maximum marks in electronics, because our best in electronics is 199, which was in last to last batch. Okay, one MCQ only that was wrong, that's why he has not scored out of marks, but you can easily score if you will focus on electronics. And each and every chapter in electronics is designed in such a way that you can get subjects in degree. Okay, here we are having chapter, and that chapter is nothing but subject in degree. So your basics will be cleared in 11th and 12th standard. So in engineering, the syllabus will not be that kind of tough for you guys.